Hi, everyone. Welcome back to What Now, a podcast for the lost and found. This is your host, Amanda. I'm so excited for you to listen to today's episode. This one is really, really special. I recorded with my good friend Judah Lando, and he has been a good friend of mine since I think 2013. So we just had our 10-year anniversary recently. He has been a huge influence on my fitness journey and uh, encouragement for over a decade now. He's near and dear to my heart, so I wanted to bring him on because he's also had a lot of trials and tribulations, either growing up or through starting various businesses throughout his life and trying to find his purpose in the world and his place, and finally figuring out where he is best aligned, either in his own business or in his future in the fitness industry. And it's just my greatest honor to have him on here and to share his story with you and to, engage with you and receive any feedback or questions you guys may have or about his journey. So I'm very, very excited to share this. It is a longer episode, so feel free to listen and take your time, absorb all the goofiness, but all of the, as he says, hot fire content that he's about to provide you. I'm very grateful for Judah and his contribution to the show, and it means the world to me to know that somebody that near and dear to me is supportive of my journey while I try to figure my stuff out as well. So it's been great interacting with him. And if you love him, we'll bring him back on the show another time. We'd be happy to have him. So without further ado, here's our recording with Judah. And don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a review, send me an email. Any way you'd like to engage with me or Judah, you are always welcome to do so. Welcome, everybody, to the studio. We're back here with What Now, a podcast for the lost and found. And it's the best day ever because guess who's on the mic? My boy, Judah. We've been best friends for about, what, over 10 years now. I think, yeah, the anniversary would have just happened in September.
Oh, I didn't get you. I did get you
I
some.
know.
I
Did
did get you some.
Is it your beautiful presence on this episode?
Yes, and
And
before I even start saying anything, I want to give you your flowers. Okay?
my flowers. Okay.
So freaking proud of you for this right here. Like we've talked about this for years, and you about to make me messed up. But we've been
Aw.
talking about this for years, and to see you actually going through and putting this together, man, like I am just so proud of you, and man, I'm looking forward to seeing you be put where you need to be put. So
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate it. We'll see how it goes. So far, it's been a lot of fun. It's quite a learning curve. It takes a really long time to edit the audio.
yeah,
I have no background in this, so this has been a very humbling hobby, I'll say. All right. Well, for some of
better
the
be.
listeners who may not have had the blessed opportunity to have met you yet, you tell them a little bit about, where you're from, how you grew up, and how you ended up in Nashville. So, like, what's the pre-story before our story began?
Story. All right, so the name is my government name is Judah Lando, but I am known as Judah Lionitis. That's a story that'll come along this interview.
Yeah.
But originally from Birmingham, Alabama, the youngest of 9 children. Learn how to survive at an early age.
Mm-hmm.
And so basically got to Nashville by way of Tennessee State University. So I got to Nashville and something warm inside of my heart was like, this is your home. And
That's where you
I've
got to
been
be.
here 20 years now. So
Yeah. What'd you study at TSU?
I don't remember.
I just showed up. I was just there.
I only
High
did
fived everybody for 4 years.
Look, I only did like 2 years at Tennessee State,
Yeah.
and then I bounced around colleges, and I got a degree. You know what I mean? But
Okay, but then you just glossed over that. You were like, I went to TSU and then I stayed for 20 years. And like, no, don't hide the juice, Judah. Don't hide the juice.
look, I'm being very
Yeah.
minimal in my approach when explaining things now. It's
Why is that? Well, you know you're on a podcast, right? Where people are going to listen on purpose.
yeah, that's
Okay.
why I know that my words need to have more impact. Because you
Okay.
know me, I can go down a worm. Me and you, we have
We
verbal
will go down
diarrhea.
wormholes. I know. All right. Well, this should be about you and your journey and how you've progressed throughout the last 20 years to where you are today. And I know that a lot of those moments were not easy or made sense at the time. You trailed off to do other jobs that weren't fitness and wellness related or life coaching related. So tell us a little bit about how is your mom doing?
Man, I've been slipping her turmeric brownies.
Turmeric brownies.
I've been
Okay.
doing a lot of baking as of late, and
I know. I
don't
saw. Yeah,
worry,
yeah. All the
we're
bread.
going to. It's going to be a product out very
Mm,
soon.
turmeric brownies.
Oh, I got
Are
a
they
whole
protein
line.
brownies? Like, can you package them and like sell them
Oh
as
yeah,
like
oh yeah,
post-workout snack or something?
delicious.
All right. All right. Y'all heard it here first. Turmeric brownies,
You
coined by
know,
Judah.
and I got a dope name for it. Can't say the name. My lawyers, not really, but my lawyers told me don't say anything because it's gonna be big.
All right. No jinxing yourself. Okay. All right. Well, that's a video we could do. I could come over and help you make them one day and we film that.
Meet me at the farmers market.
Okay. Okay. All right. We're trailing. We're trailing. Let's get back to it. So you moved to Nashville. You decide after graduation or after you finished your degrees, bouncing around in colleges, you want to go into fitness. Is that what happens, or you decide you like personal training?
All right, so when I first, and here's the origin story of Judah the trainer.
Yeah.
So basically, I got to Tennessee State, was under the impression that I had scholarships,
Okay.
which did not work out the way that I had planned. So instead of playing football, I became a regular student. Now, when I got to college, I knew that I needed to be in really, really good shape.
Yes.
So as soon as high school was over for me, I went into training and I went into like making money. And when I got to Nashville, I looked like a football player. So I was in really good shape. And so when I didn't play football, I was like, dude, this is a boring life just being a regular student. I was like, okay, just go to the gym. You've been going to the gym. So I would go to the gym and all the girls would ask, so how much do you charge? And I'm like, how much would you pay?
Yeah. What do you
She,
want to
she's
know?
like, well, the
What
other guy had this amount. I was like, well,
what
you
your name is?
give me $5 under that and we got a deal. So, you know what I mean? Like, that's how I started training. And,
Okay.
you know,
Yeah.
I learned some valuable lessons through that. So basically, when I got to college, I started
Okay.
training because it was literally easy money. All I had to do was look like I was in shape. And
Yeah.
once I got into the professional world, man, my weight ballooned like crazy. Like just working at offices and potluck Tuesday, seafood Thursday, we just constantly ate like that. So I gained like 50 pounds. And that was the first time when I looked at myself and I was like, I don't feel like myself. And that's kind of what got me on the fitness journey when I came out of that corporate world to
Sure.
say, you know what, I want to change myself. So when I start
Mhm.
changing myself, I started changing the things that I wanted to devote my time to. And
Yeah.
so that's where I kind of revamped my fitness life. right around that time that I was at GNC and all these things. I'm watching these guys come in going, yeah, man, I'm getting ready for a bodybuilding competition. And I'm like, dude, I work out 3 times a week and I look better than you.
Mm.
And so I just told myself, I was like, dude, what if you actually
Did this?
what if you got serious and had a little bit of discipline? And that's when I competed in my first show in 2011. And that just kind of, it gave me an idea of this is something that I enjoy doing. How can I monetize it? And personal training, in my mind,
Mm-hmm.
which I've learned in the 20 years since being in the fitness mindset, I've learned that every situation is so much deeper than we give it credit. We think that we can just start a diet plan and in 3 weeks, bam, I'm there.
Yeah.
Everybody thinks they can just jump in and create the wave of fame
Yeah.
overnight, and it's not like that.
No,
So,
not for an average person. Yeah, no. There's definitely a time and a place, and certain people are born with particular access and privilege that is just not equal across the way. So I get that for sure. So when you were doing corporate, how old were you at that point? When you did your first show, right? In 2011?
yeah, in 2011, I was right around that 27, 28. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
and yeah. And how did that first show go for you?
Amazing. It opened up my eyes to so many possibilities because I came in second place
Yeah,
in that show, in my first show. And the guys that I beat, they were guys that if I were not being judged next to them, if you were to see these guys in the gym alone, you'd be like, oh my God, they look good.
sure.
But that's how I was looking at it because you got to remember when I did my first show, I just put my head down and I just started working. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I didn't
you didn't
compare
have a
myself
coach.
to anybody.
Yeah, so you did this all on your own. You had
Oh
no
yeah,
actual you weren't part of a team, which is very
no,
common for people that may not understand. The bodybuilding industry is split up by divisions and weight classes, but then also by particular groups. So you can be NPC or
you have drug tested and naturals.
right, drugs versus naturals. And
Yeah,
you did naturals the entire time, right?
yeah. Well,
Yeah,
I've
you
done both. The goal is to get
mhm.
a pro card in both. I want an IFBB pro card and a WNFB.
There you go.
It's
That's the
where
one.
yeah,
WNFP. That's the other one.
yeah, the natural Mr. Olympia. I want to compete on both
Mhm.
stages. Like that's my goal.
Yeah. So it can be very, very competitive, but for people who may not know, there are lots of weightlifting and training businesses surrounding teams. So if you wanted to join a particular coach because they've had athletes from all the different levels, it's very common to join a team and to do that. But Judah is saying that he did not. He competed on his own. So how did it go though, trying to learn all those rules and the nuances, like figuring out how to do your posing, how to get your color right? Because yes, you are African American, right? But you still get spray tanned. You still
Yeah.
have to you still have to wear the suits. You still have to know exactly the length that they have to be. Like there's a lot of little teeny tiny details that the judges are paying attention to that are not even your body related,
Mhm.
right? So like how did you handle learning all those things or doing all those things without help? If you're doing it all on your own for your very first show, that's got to be intimidating, right?
All right. I'm gonna need. We're gonna put this on the short because this is a PSA
Okay.
to all people who ever said that bodybuilders were not athletes. Here is my argument of why a bodybuilder is an athlete.
Okay.
Posing is essential to bodybuilding as dribbling is to basketball. What I did was I used my athletic mind. If I'm going to play basketball, if I watch one basketball game and I realize that everybody is dribbling,
Yeah.
if I ever want to play basketball, I need to learn how to dribble. I need to learn how to shoot. I need to learn what the rules are and I need to learn all the nuances of the game before actually getting into play. That was my athletic mind. So I did the same thing with bodybuilding.
Yeah.
I went in and I saw a show. And I gave myself an opportunity to say, okay, I see this. And then that's a lie. I did not go to the show.
Okay.
I watched the show on YouTube.
Yeah.
I just willy-nilly showed up to a first show. Like I paid my money and I got a pink Speedo and I said, bro, if you don't diet down from February to October, which was their first show,
Yeah.
you gotta stand on the stage in a pink Speedo. They're gonna take pictures of you. You do not want that. And that's crazy how my mind just kind of warped into it. But yeah, just I understood going in
Yeah.
that there were things that I had to do. Like posing is a thing. So I posed a lot. I watched a lot of posing tutorials. Like people are afraid to learn. I love learning. So it's just when I went in, I just knew what I had to have. And from that, sometimes you just gotta jump in.
Yeah.
Once you jump in your first show and you okay, all right. Now it's like riding a bike, and honestly, you start to crave that stage. Anybody who has ever competed, who has done well,
Yeah.
let me say that, who has ever competed and done well, because there's a lot of people who might say, yeah, but it wasn't for me. The people wasn't for me. Where did you place?
Or how did you prepare? Yeah.
Exactly.
Did you have the awareness of what is it? The 3Ds, the dedication, discipline, and I don't know, determination, I guess, like to actually pull that out. Cause I know I was interested in it for a very long time, especially after I had talked to you when we first met, but it's so much of those three things to even get you across the finish line for an amateur moment, like a novice placement. But yeah, I agree with you. It's quite a high, and it takes a very different kind of person to want to do that because it's a little bit backwards, right? Like it's a sport where you are judged on you're just purely your body, pretty much. Like, are you aesthetically exactly the way that this particular set of judges is looking for? And it's mind blowing. We really need to do a separate podcast where we can talk about the psychology of bodybuilding and why do certain athletes like that stay in it for so long versus some people leave, and like how do you fight body dysmorphia, body image issues, or your own, how do you keep your sanity in a sport that's constantly telling you whether or not you're actually good enough, right? Like, and it's over something you can't really control, right? Other than you can gain weight and lose weight, what if they don't like the way you look just as a person? So it's fascinating to me. I love it. I don't even do it, and I love it. And mad respect to anybody that stays in the industry, because there's so many avenues you could go down with either businesses or training or coaching or things that you learn about yourself when you're on stage prepping for something like that.
So check this. Check
Changes you.
this.
Check it.
My new life is dedicated to perspective. And the perspective that I'm utilizing is coming from
Yeah,
what I've experienced.
of course.
And what people have to understand about bodybuilding, yes, it is subjective about how you look. But once again, bodybuilding is a sport.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a couple different things that, as a sport, come into play. You can be the best shooter on the court. You could be Steph Curry. But if you can't dribble, it kind of doesn't work. So yeah, you can have natural genetics and you can naturally look good, but that's not solely what the judges are
Right.
judging. They're judging everything from stage presence to presentation. Do you know what your best angles are? Because if you pose a certain way, You're always supposed to show, just like you do in the real world. You show
Mhm.
people your best side. Well,
Yeah.
why not do that on stage? You were given 30 seconds after 6 months of dieting.
Or longer.
6 months
Yeah.
of dieting and training to stand on the stage for maybe a minute. You might want to practice.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
You
for
might
sure.
want to look like you're not as nervous as you really are,
As you really
because
are.
those things will ding you. Like, do you have a complete, are you proportioned? Are those muscles fully developed? Are you overly developed up top and underly developed at the bottom? Do your glutes and your hamstrings tie in? Can I see that? Do you have quad sweeps? Are you flaring your lats to create a V taper?
Mhm.
These are questions that the
Takes
judges are
practice.
asking.
Yeah. And how many shows have you done now since 2011?
13.
13. All right, all right, all right. And
Yeah.
how did your most recent show go?
First place in my division, and fourth overall in the whole show out of, I think,
Yeah.
50, 40 or 50 men's physique guys. Because men's physique, that's I wish somebody would have told me that bodybuilding has
Yeah.
levels of development.
Mhm.
And a lot of guys don't know this. They just jump right into bodybuilding and speedo. Like, no. You have different divisions. You have men's physique for guys who just upper bodies have developed faster. You got classic physique whose legs and upper body are developed, but they just lack the size of an open bodybuilder. Then you got bodybuilding, which
Mhm.
is overall, they looking for freaks. If you are not a freak and you're really willing to put the needle in, get the old jabberoo, you like open bodybuilding shouldn't even be something that you do. Like, you
Yeah.
got men's physique where you wear the board shorts, and you got classic physique who, reminiscent of Arnold and all those guys, they wasn't blown out.
Right, right. Yeah.
So I just did. I decided to just start over again. Once I got back into bodybuilding, let me just start at the bottom, men's physique. And while my legs are cooking, as I call them, while they're cooking,
Well, them chicken thighs.
because
Marinating.
once I start training, my upper body leans out so much faster than my
Yeah.
lower body,
Right.
and it causes a kind of imbalance in, if I got my speedo on, where my legs ain't really
Mm,
dialed in, but my upper body, like,
you're
I
not
get
ready,
dinged
yeah.
on that.
Yes, you would, yeah.
So, men's physique is an opportunity for me to just kind of display my upper body and let my legs still keep developing. And I got first place in.
What are some of the lessons you have learned between your first show and your most recent show? Like, what have lessons you've either learned about the sport or about yourself as you've gone through that 13 show process? What are some of those biggest realizations you've had?
That is a great question. Wow, I got my little my pad over here, and I was like, I got my answers to all the questions that Amanda could ask me, but you just threw me a curveball. Wow. All right. So
Because
the
you,
first thing that pops off in my head is fail hard.
yeah,
Bodybuilding was something that, once again, this is a story that my mom could, you know, validate for me. We had VCR tapes, and the tape that got the most play in my house was Commando, Arnold Schwarzenegger.
okay,
I would sit in front of the TV and just be engulfed in Commando. And I always knew, once I started watching Rocky and I started watching all these dudes with these like ripped physiques, that was always something on my mind. I always wanted to be that.
yeah,
And so Arnold kind of was that catalyst, and it opened up the door to saying, like, what makes them different than me? I just, it's just one of those things that has always been inside of me. That once I started competing, I was like, man, I really like this, but there was nobody else doing it. I didn't have any friends I can talk to about it. So it created this loneliness where, trust me, when you get lonely, you'll start thriving. It's almost like going into hibernation. It's like you go into this place, which this is why people have that depressive fall off at the end of their show prep, is because that is what your life is. For 6 months you are on that show. You were That's all. You don't have friends, you don't go out, you don't do anything.
Yeah.
And you find like this peace in there. And from show to show, I'm starting to realize that, there have been shows I've placed fifth. I messed up my water on one of the natural shows. I got down there and I was like, I got a little something on my stomach. I gotta go weigh in. I don't know if it's gas or whatnot. I'm just gonna go in the bathroom and see. I should have waited. I should have just got to the place and peed in the cup and then let the gas out. I didn't do that. I went in the hotel bathroom, sat down on the toilet, and was like, no, and started peeing. I was already depleted. I was already depleted. And to compete in a natural show, you got to pee in the cup. And I got to the weigh-ins and I could not pee. I walked the track. I got in the hot tub. I did everything to muster. They said all we need is just like a little bit. And it just got to a point where the end of check-ins were coming in. They were closing them like, hey man, like, you can't compete. I've trained.
Yeah.
You can't compete if you don't pee. So I was like, you know what? Screw it. And I started down in water. Yeah. And I ended up weighing in 10 pounds heavier
than what you knew you were.
Than what I trained for. And I got demolished. Like, it was, if my boys didn't go, and this was one of those rare times that God, the universe, my guardian angels, my essence was there to truly keep me together, because I told my guys, they just so happened to go with me. And they saw me going through this thing. They saw me go through this process. And if they were not with me, I would have just drove back to Nashville. I would have said, screw it. I wouldn't have competed at all. But one of the things that I'm just learning as I've gone from show to show, is it's your preparation. Are you prepared? Because anything can go wrong.
Yeah.
Can you keep your stress down? Because that's what I've learned through all of this as well. It's stress. Stress and sugar. The two things that are taking people out.
Oh my God. We're sitting here talking about failure in your industry, and you're like, kids. Fuck them kids.
I'm telling you, like, stress.
We're talking about failing hard right now. But no, yeah, you work so hard, and then you realize that you're not weighing in right, and then it stresses you out, and then it's a cycle, and you got to get your adrenals down, because then it shows up in your body because you have no body
10 pounds.
to protect you.
10 pounds later, you are like, what the heck? And you didn't look, when you know that you're going to, like, a bodybuilding show day is a long day. Mm-hmm. You got to get ready and stay ready until you get pulled to the stage.
Yeah.
So you're backstage. Remember, in your suit, just naked people everywhere. Pumping up, eating, women over there putting their makeup on, like, which I'm I'm telling you, it's a different world
It's a
backstage.
circus.
Backstage is its own world.
And
But
back
yeah, you go from
yeah.
9 to 12, go eat, hopefully get a nap in. You got to get retouched up with your tan. Women, I have no idea what they do because all I want is some food. I want to lay down because you got to be back at 4:30,
Mhm.
and then from 4:30 to how long? Because the night show is when they give you all the awards. Everybody's got the individual posing routine.
Right.
So your day probably starts at 5 a.m. on Saturday and it ends probably maybe 10.
Yeah, it's a long day.
And
It's
you
a
got to
long
keep
day.
your body and your mind together. So
Yeah.
imagine going through all that knowing that you're going to lose.
Mhm. Yeah, it messes with your head.
But remember what I learned, fell hard.
Mhm.
And failing hard in that particular circumstance is seeing the mission through.
Even if you know the results are going to be bad. Yeah. You still got the experience out of it and you did learn something.
This industry is, I'm not going to lie to you, it is the dopest industry and it has some of the best people. Like,
Yeah.
this is the one industry that real recognizes real.
That's good.
Like, I don't care what your salary is at a corporate place. I don't care who you had dinner and drinks with the other night. Take your shirt off. Where did you place in the Olympia?
Okay.
Like, your resume, everybody knows who you are. You don't
Yeah.
have to go around and be a turd to people. Oh, I think I'm this. Like, the good ones, which I have had the honor and privilege to
Mhm.
meeting.
Yeah.
Brandon Curry, oh yeah, placed fourth in the Olympia, and
Mhm.
he's 38 years old like me, and he's still doing it. He's been competing since like '08, and he's
Yeah.
still doing
Longer
it. His
longer than
show was the
you.
first one that I ever did, and Brandon Curry is one. They
Yeah.
will they will give you knowledge in this in this arena, in this industry.
That's
But we
nice.
just got such a bad rap because you got so many fakes out there.
Mm.
They just want the clout.
So how do
They
you
don't
handle
they don't love bodybuilding.
yeah, well, how do you handle when you run into people like that though? Like, because you're one of the most friendliest, funny, outgoing, kind people that I know. And not everybody's going to be like that. Like you said, there's some people that are fake and some people that are only out there for their ego to become famous in the industry. Like how do you handle animosity like that, or if somebody's like overly competitive in that way, or acting out like that? What do you do in that instance?
Does a lion have to tell you that he's a threat? Would you walk up on a lion?
No,
Why?
because it's a lion. It's a wild animal. It
So
could kill
why would
you.
anybody walk up on me and real recognizes real? That's how I deal with those people.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, there's no one on, like, this is why it's so important to go all the way in on your passion. Is because your passion, when you start to truly believe it, when you start to truly walk in your purpose, you walk with a swagger that a lot of people have been trying to imitate for years. Just watch me work out.
Yeah.
Just watch. Like, my control, my eccentric focus, because that's where you get the most muscle growth anyways. Most people count their reps backwards. You should count it going down, not going up, because it's the eccentrics that create the overall maturity. But that's a whole nother story for another day. If a guy walks up to me and tries to be, oh, well, this, like, bro, show me your credentials. What's your
Hmm.
name? You know what?
Let me look you up right now. Yeah.
Here, I'll Google you because the NPC,
Yeah. They
if
keep record.
yeah, you can look people up. I can see how many shows you've done, and I can also see where you've placed.
Mm-hmm.
So, bro, I don't have to say a word. Silence is so powerful now.
Mm-hmm.
And that's another thing that I've learned along this journey. You don't, when you walk your purpose, you don't have to get validation from others to say that you are good. I'll just let the judges do it.
Yeah.
Why would I compete with a guy in the gym when it's easy to just pay your money and stand up there next to me?
Right. I'm not going to pay you any mind. Your opinion isn't really the final
There you
opinion
go.
in this particular thing I'm doing. Yeah. Okay. So you talk about walking in purpose. How did you find your purpose, or how did you realize what your purpose really was? Sometimes people take a really long time getting to that place, or they've never gotten to that place. Some of my listeners are kind of like me, where they had a purpose, but then they had to let it go for whatever reason, and now they're trying to find what they're supposed to be doing now instead. If their old chapter is closed, like, do you have any advice about how you found your purpose and like what that felt like, and how you kind of seized that, and how you knew that that's what you should be doing?
Perspective. Remember, that's my
Yeah.
goal is to always share my perspective. Now, some people have the talent to actually hear and apply. You know,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of us, we hear things, but we procrastinate to apply them, and then it's too late. Um, what I like to see it as is you have to be broken. You just have to be broken. You have to be repurposed. It's like the bald eagle, man. When he gets old, he has to fly up and break his beak because he can't eat. He has to break it so it can grow back stronger. Like you have to go through that breaking period, and it's 9 times out of 10 at the worst time in your entire life. But it's God's way of sitting you down, putting you in that corner, and like you gotta submit. Some of us don't submit. And when you submit and truly listen and be to be to you, that's the reason I don't have a cell phone anymore, Amanda.
That explains a lot. That explains so much. Because I've
I
been
just
messaging you trying to schedule this stupid episode, and you're like, I'm not going to talk to her unless it's on Instagram. I'm like, I ain't sliding into your DMs. I am more important than that. This is garbage. Straight up
I just
making me become one of those girls. I hate you. You don't
but
have a
this
cell
it's
phone.
crazy. Okay, so let's look at that.
That's a side story. Oh,
Let's look at that. We can
okay.
look at that as another piece of finding your purpose is you having to be willing to detach from your history.
Okay.
Like sometimes we hold so much negative. Yeah, Erica Badu, bag lady. You're gonna hurt yourself carrying all those bags. You're carrying all these things through life, and you're wondering why you just don't feel like you can ever just be free. And my phone was just such a link to. Man, I had the same phone number for 20 years
Okay.
because I was always under the impression where anybody can get to me. If somebody needs me, and it wasn't until I lost everything and I realized that I felt like no one needed me because I would go times with my phone never ringing and I would forget. And I'm like, it's crazy. So when I developed a minimalist mentality where I just wanted to start shaving the fat off my body, off my
Yeah.
life, off my mind, which did wonders for my stress levels. Like not having a cell phone saves me $100 a month. You know what $100 a month goes to? Chicken.
Chicken and rice.
I would rather have food
Mhm.
than a cell phone.
Okay.
All my social media, I can communicate with people for free.
On
I
your
coach.
computer, yeah, yeah.
I lifestyle coach.
Mhm.
As long as you have the internet, you're fine. Only go to two places, home and the gym.
There's only 2
They
places to find him, ladies. With his mama or under 600
now,
pounds of iron.
but here's the thing though.
Uh-oh.
That's finding me is the hard part because
Mhm.
I'm a promiscuous gym goer.
Oh, I was like, "Wait a second.
Meaning
Where is this going?"
I just go to random gyms. Like
Yeah.
I'm what they call a gym whore.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Hop around, eh?
I am. They be like, man, I haven't seen you in a long time. Well, I've been down at Crunch, and I was at
Mhm.
Carbon Culture, and I
Yeah.
passed through Olympus. I was at Redcon,
Right, yeah.
1440.
That's the last time we did anything together was a year ago at RedCon.
Yeah, I just I love this now. Like that's who I am now, and it brings me peace. And all these places have
Mhm.
Wi-Fi, so if you need to talk to me, as long as I'm somewhere with Wi-Fi, I'm fine. But it just goes to show that we've been conditioned to
Mhm.
finding your passion is becoming unconditioned
Okay.
and learning to truly lean towards what you need, not what you want. Lean towards your needs more so than your wants, because what I wanted was to be a famous bodybuilder slash trainer, owning his own gym, doing all these things, driving fancy cars. Like that's who I
Sure.
wanted to be,
Mhm.
but that's not who I needed to be. I needed to be someone who is I can't be I refuse to be lied to anymore.
Okay.
I just it was so many things that I've learned along this journey. I'm like, wow, if somebody could have just pulled me to the side and just told me this, I would have saved 5 years. That's why when I'm in the gym and a young guy comes up to me and, hey man, just happened yesterday. I'm in the locker room changing, and the guy looks at me. He's like, "Hey man, I've been noticing you, man." I'm like, "Yeah, what's up?" He's like, "You compete, right?" It's like, "Yeah." He's like, "I
Mhm.
can tell, man. Like, dude, you, man, I, I watch you." I was like, "Look, whenever you got a question, man, come and ask." And he was like, "Seriously, I'm gonna take you up on it." I was like,
Aw.
"Let's go."
Yeah. I
But
feel like
I want to be the person that I wish I had, because there's just, man, people lie to you about getting in shape, losing weight. They're lying to you. I just don't want to be lied to. I want to put myself through as
mhm.
much life. I want to turn my passions, my lifestyle, everything that it is to know about this lifestyle that I'm trying to create.
Mhm.
Bodybuilding, I want to hang out with the best. Nutrition, I want to go to the farms where they manufacture the things, which I've had an opportunity to do. I want to know it all for myself. I don't, nothing that I do right now is hearsay.
Mhm.
And this is where my perspective comes from. I walked 800 miles last year because I didn't have a car and I didn't miss the gym one time.
Right. Yeah, because you used to post about doing your runs there and back or walks there and back, yeah.
If you're going to tell me cardio makes you lose weight, I should be 150 pounds.
Right, yeah, that's not how that works. It's not the only thing you need to be doing. Yeah.
So, yeah, so now do you see kind of where I am in my development stage? And, in 2011, I started competing and I had a catastrophic injury, tore my Achilles tendon 2015,
Mhm.
right when I left the YMCA. No, it was 2014. Right when I left the YMCA. The week after I left my good insurance, salary
You
paying
get hurt.
job,
Yeah.
yeah, I left to branch out and do my own thing and tore my Achilles. And if that wasn't the first like precursor to it's
All
about
kinds
to
of
be a
things.
wild ride, bro.
Yeah. That's a
You
very good
know,
example of a what now moment. Yeah. I
yeah.
I'm taking a bet on myself, and the very first month I take a bet on myself, I immediately get injured. Like, it's scary, right? I mean, did you regret leaving the YMCA at that moment, or did you know, despite getting hurt, this is still exactly where I'm supposed to be? This is what I should have been doing the whole time, or no?
Man, I'm built different.
I know.
Like when you from where I'm from, you basically you don't have time to be like, man, I shouldn't have did that. Oh, I'm so dumb for doing that. Like, no, you don't have time for that. You go, what now? And so as I sat there butt naked on the bed with my leg propped up after getting out of the shower because I got too much pride to put a stool in the shower as I take a shower with this torn Achilles. Because if it
Mhm.
touches the ground, oh,
All hell breaks
HE
loose,
double
yeah.
hockey sticks is gonna break loose because that pain
Mhm.
is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Hopping on one leg, bathing, hopping back, and just having to fall on the bed because you're so exhausted, because you're so stubborn. I had to just think, all right, first off, you got to go to work. You got to go to work. As bad as this feels right now,
Yeah.
you got to go to work. You don't have a job anymore. You're training. You're an independent trainer right now. So, buddy, first things first, go find us a boot. Go get a boot and let's get to it.
Yeah.
So, I developed in my mind, if the reason that I was such a good trainer is because I was just monkey see, monkey do. I've always liked working out, so I'm very creative with working out. So when people join me in my workouts, I can adjust it to all skill levels.
Right.
My classes at the Y, were age ranges from like 10 to 60. I've had an age range of people with the same
Mhm.
workout concept, but just tailoring it to them because these are things that I like.
Yeah.
So my physical was always how I built my programs. But now, without a leg, I had to use my words now. I had to develop an understanding of simplicity where I can explain it to a child
Mhm.
and an adult. And 9 times out of 10, the child will get it before the adult.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was the what now moment. The what now moment was change your communication skill. Stop being so physical in your explanation and
Yeah.
speak in a way that people could truly understand what you're trying to say and you don't have to demonstrate fully.
Right, it taught you how to not only show something, but you have to be able to explain it to someone else. That's kinda how
Exactly.
you realize that you've become the expert, is if you can teach it to someone else. In that sense, that's good. That's a good skill
But
set.
once again, I told you it's when you start to follow your passion,
Yeah.
you open up this sensory apparatus in your mind where you stop looking at situations and circumstances as obstacles and you start to looking at them as opportunities to learn.
Okay. Yeah.
So when you follow your passion, it's like, okay, I'm following it. These situations keep happening, but they're just the universe giving you tests to sharpen your experience. So now, as I'm speaking to you very clearly, I'm articulating, I'm giving you hand gestures, I'm doing all those things to
Mhm.
get my point. through.
Yeah.
And that is something that I learned when I tore my Achilles, which was devastating.
Yeah.
I would have rather broken my ankle.
Oof. I'd
Because
rather do
that
neither. I don't want
because
to do
that heals
either
back
one.
way quicker.
Than the Achilles. Did you have to have surgery, or it had to heal on its own?
Remember, I'm just tired of being lied to. Remember that statement?
Yes.
I think that's gonna be the name of my book. You heard it here first,
I'm
guys.
tired of being lied to. Judah
I'm,
Lando.
I'm tired of being
Stop
lied
living
to.
lies.
Tired of these lies.
I'm tired of Satan lying to me. I'm
I went and
busy.
got an MRI,
Yeah.
and every doctor was like, "Oh yeah, it's a total tear. It's a total tear. You need surgery. You need surgery. You need surgery." Every
Okay.
single one.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, what I've researched is when you tear your Achilles, that
Uh-huh.
calf muscle rolls up into the back of your leg.
Yeah, you can see it move
You,
because it's no
you can
longer
see it.
being pulled. Yeah, no longer being pulled down, attached to the ankle. Yeah.
But I had a little bit of flexion in my foot.
Mm-hmm.
That tells me that it's not a total rupture.
Okay.
Every doctor bet against me. You're gonna have to have surgery. So you're never gonna be 100%. You're never.
Mm-hmm.
So I started following European journals and Canadian journals,
Okay.
and it was so crazy that in the grand scheme of things, if you were not told, 50% of Achilles injuries, you run the risk of re-rupturing it at the same rate as if you were to get it surgically repaired.
So even if,
So
yeah.
letting it heal on its own, if it's not a total rupture, tendons heal.
Mm-hmm.
Tendons get stronger. And remember, tendons are what connect muscle to bone. I'm a bodybuilder. So when those tendons got mangled, I lost the whole calf muscle.
Right, because you couldn't use it. How long were you in
which
the boot?
which led me into my 6-year layoff from bodybuilding.
Yeah. How long were you wearing the boot?
Um, After watching this Canadian football player, he was just talking to me. He took us through his recovery,
Yeah.
and I wore that boot. I tore it March 9th. I wore that boot. I think the first night that I didn't wear that boot was to a Thanksgiving party.
Yeah.
And it was the scariest moment ever because it's like,
Yeah. You trying not to
don't
slip.
push me.
Nobody touch me. Don't get near me.
Don't touch me. Don't push me. Like,
Don't even breathe over
and,
here.
but technically, I was back
Yeah.
in relatively good time. That's why people are looking at Aaron Rodgers right now. He tore his Achilles and he's back 12 weeks after surgery. It's
Right.
because your body has an ability to regenerate itself. And if you're given the proper knowledge and the proper understanding of how to do so, you can do it. And that's why,
Sure.
once again, I'm tired of being lied to because the doctors could have laid it out, okay, 50-50. Not just jumping me straight to getting surgery.
Well, do you think that I feel like some of that might be a little more complicated than just that, especially if you went to see a surgeon for the consultation, then like that's what they're going to recommend. That is their
Yeah, because
specialty.
that's what he
And
does for a living.
that's what he does for a living, he or she, and that's how they make their money is by performing surgeries. But I also do have to wonder a little bit if it had anything to do with your background. Like if they didn't trust that you already knew that what you were talking about or anything like that. They just, they brushed you off because you weren't an expert in the field, quote unquote, right? Like, or they just the history of the medical industry not listening to minorities when they ask for help or say that they're in a particular type of pain is still very common. So I didn't know if that had anything else to do with it too. Just
It
that,
all goes in the same pot of stew.
yeah, the pot. Yeah. Oh, so when you let's talk a little bit about you. Obviously, you've had various jobs throughout the years, most of them related to fitness. You've recovered from the Achilles thing. You've been doing the bodybuilding shows over the last 20-ish years. How did you end up deciding to no longer do personal training, like the one-on-ones type of thing? You did private training sometimes for other people around Nashville,
Yeah.
some football people, some business owners, etc. But you stopped doing that completely and you've transitioned into lifestyle coaching or the wellness coaching groups. How did that transition or decision to transition come about, and what's that like now for you?
Once again, every pivot point in our lives are sometimes initiated by catastrophe.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that so many people share my sentiment when we talk about the dreaded C word, COVID-19.
Okay.
When
The
you are
co-
when you are in an industry that is a face-to-face industry, people pay to see you.
right.
People pay to be around you. You know what they're not going to pay for? You getting them sick.
Sure.
So when COVID hit and they shut down gyms, the bottom fell out. I mean, the bottom fell out of my finances, my everything. And it was something that was no one could have predicted that. No one knew the effect that it would have.
Yeah.
And I I stopped being a trainer for two reasons. One being I will never put myself in another situation that 2020 presented for me. If this ever happens again, I still got my business. I want you to be at home. Take me to the gym with you. Put your tripod up. Take
Yeah.
me to the park with you. Just we can do this.
Right. Did that not
That's
work?
number one. I will never lose another business with some unforeseen circumstances on that magnitude. And number two is 90% of all success in the gym come from your. If you don't know what's going in, you don't know what's coming out. You know how much gas in your tank when you get in the car, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
And that tells you just how far you can go. Imagine if you had a full tank all the time. You can go real far, can't you? And you can go real strong. It's your fuel, your
Yeah.
food, 90%. Then it's your routine. That means, do you sleep? What is your routine for everything? That's 5%. And the gym is way down at the end with the last 2% of what you really need to focus on. I have changed over this last couple, months. I've
Mm-hmm.
changed some people in a way that they didn't believe they could be changed. And they didn't go to the gym.
Yeah. You're talking about this is through this is through the lifestyle coaching groups.
It's
Yeah.
the lifestyle. It's
Yeah.
it's understanding that it's food, sleep, workout
Yeah. The trifecta.
in that order. Food, sleep, workout. And I didn't want to associate myself with the part of this industry that she yells to people that you need to pay me an ungodly amount of money to come and see me for 30 minutes to an hour 3 times a week.
Mm-hmm.
And you're you're gonna look just like me if you just do this. That's a lie. Like there's so many trainers out here that don't even live the lifestyle. but you're taking people's money and giving advice on a lifestyle that you don't even you don't you, I'm getting high on my supply. That's what life is. Life is, they always say, don't get high on your own supply. No, when
About
you
drugs.
live purposefully,
That's about drugs.
look, hey, this is a drug. Your passion, your
Mm,
purpose is your drug. Indulge in it. And it's just I didn't want to associate myself with trainers who
mhm,
I can look at you and tell that you don't know what you're talking about, but you're lying to this person is really spending their hard-earned money
sure.
to be lied to. I would rather focus on the 90% than the 2%.
Yeah.
The 90% of getting a person ready versus you only get that's the 2%.
Mhm.
And it's already saturated.
Yeah. So how does joining your lifestyle coaching process, how does that work? Do they pay like a monthly fee, or is it like a subscription service on your social media accounts? Like you could go become a member of your Patreon page and like they pay the monthly fee to like watch all of the training videos there or watch your workouts there. You can do live workouts on Patreon and your members can pay to do that. Like how does your particular business work if they want to join your wellness group?
So right now, I have given myself a cap number
Okay.
because another mindset that I'm taking into this new approach with business is I don't want people who have not been broken yet.
Okay.
If you are coming to me for a weight loss, I ain't your guy. I want people who are willing to learn, who are ready to like not contemplate in a theoretical model of change. There are different levels in the contemplating portion of a decision being
Mhm.
made. There's a pre-contemplation, there's a contemplation. Like, get to me when you ready to make that action.
Okay.
That's like 3-4 steps. And I've been weeding a lot of people out. I only take 5 people at a time. And until I can have the capacity to do more,
Sure.
I want to give those 5 people. And if one of those people, for some reason, they can't be with me for a month, I'll open that spot up to the next person and I'll close that off.
Okay. So it is only 5 at any given moment right
Yeah.
now.
At any given time, it's only 5.
Okay. Is
And
there
I
a
give
wait
those
list
people
or
100% of my undivided. I am the Steve Urkel to them.
what?
Heidi Owens, I am at your door. I am checking up on you. Hey, did you do
Mhm.
your electrolytes today? Hey,
Yeah.
did you put your feet up to get your circulation in your legs going? Like, it's all the small little nuances that people take for granted that
Okay.
you're missing out on valuable opportunities to progress by just doing simple little things every day, creating that level of consistency where you just want to win,
Yeah.
being a winner. And so, yeah, right now I'm keeping my operation very small, and this is an opportunity for me to compartmentalize what the coaching is, but also still stay on what bodybuilding needs to be in my life. I got my family life, my mom, my brother, my family comes up. We have great time here at the house. My family is good.
Right.
My business is slowly getting itself together and it goes as I go. So the more knowledge I acquire, the better I get, the
Mhm.
better my business gets because I am truly living the lifestyle that I am telling you. And I'm not a trainer in the gym going, hey, if you do this exercise, you'll get a big butt. No, you won't. Sorry. Sorry. I had to take a jab.
What? I didn't say anything. There's a lot of things that play into it, and you're right. Anybody that's selling you do this move 3 times a week or do these 5 things 7 times every single day or whatever, they're giving you snake oil. It's time, dedication, and exactly what you said, eating, sleeping, and then working out. Like consistency in all 3 of those things is what helps you build that. And some people's ability to build muscle faster. Some people's ability is slower. Some people's ability, no matter what you do, is just not going to grow. And that's probably a genetic factor for you. But yeah, I hate it when somebody's like, they show you an image of the ideal body or of like how to get that body. And the thing is, you're never going to get that body because that body is that person's, right? Like my body is never going to look like yours simply because I'm not you, right? Like it's just never, I can get to my version of what that would look like, but it's going to look like how I look like, if that makes any sense, you know? Is there a physical fitness aspect of your wellness coaching or
Oh
is it
yeah.
like so you're not giving them fitness guidance, but you are at least focusing on the whole, I'm assuming a more holistic approach to how to live your particular life. Is the intention to grow the business beyond the 5 people? Like, would you want to take on like your next class is like 10 people or
Well,
would,
I'll systematically
yeah.
expand it,
Okay.
but as with anything, the word capacity just keeps radiating through my mind because a
Sure.
lot of people don't understand that in order to have a good grasp on your progress, you have to have the capacity to maintain it.
Right. So if you overdo your workload ahead of time just to make money, you may miss what you're supposed to be learning about that, how to grow the business in an efficient and scalable
Yeah.
way. Okay. All right. Makes sense. You're
So
slowing things
I'm
down.
I'm still in the incubator. Like technically, I don't have a business. I'm just helping some friends out.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right.
I'm just that's what I'm doing. I'm just helping some friends out because that's who I model myself as. You know, I
Mhm.
am your homeboy who just so happened to be a professional in the fitness industry. I've been doing a lot of reading just over
Okay.
the last once I took in that, all right, dude, by 40, you're gonna have it together. You know what I'm saying? Like 2025, you're gonna make this work. So that's how long I'm giving myself to business, bodybuilding, home, family life.
Yeah.
Like that's just I'm giving myself time to just kind of slow cook myself in. And a lot of the books that I read just talk about the journey.
Mhm.
It's the journey. It's the opportunity to acquire the knowledge. Sometimes we skim over it so quickly. Something will happen and we'll panic and try to get it done while not living within that moment. And when I kind of took on the Judah Lionitis moniker,
Mhm.
I realized that there had to be a balance in this thing that I'm creating. I needed a juggernaut. I needed my Michael Jordan to my Scottie Pippen. And Lionitis is my Michael Jordan. Lionitis is everything that I wish Judah could be. He's
Well,
my superhero. And it's when I
you're
stand on that
manifesting him.
stage, I
Yeah,
stand on that stage as Lionitis. When I coach people, I
yeah.
coach as Lionitis. Like Lionitis he has zero F's to give. He
Mhm.
don't care about your excuses because you know why? I let Lionitis play at the gym. Like
Yeah.
my deal with Lionitis is he'll help me build my business as long as I take him to the gym.
Okay.
Like this is the
Where
split
he wants to
personality
be.
that I've created. Like
Mhm.
Lionitis is just he stands up for himself. He exudes confidence. Like Lionitis talks bad to Judah. I don't want to wake up, dude. Get up now. We
Mhm.
got things to do. You got this, you got that. Like Leonidas is that piece of myself
Mhm.
that I always can. He makes things go.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to create a marketing campaign of people finding their Leonidas. Like just that brace, what would Jesus do? What would Leonidas think? Like,
Okay.
you know what I mean? Like, what would there's a piece of Amanda that she just a she a bad girl. You know what I'm saying? Like she's no nonsense.
Yeah.
She's like relentless. And we just for some reason we go through these places in our lives and we try to get back with our passions, but it's not until we develop that piece of us who
Mhm.
has the confidence to
Yeah.
fail hard.
Good
Ask
point.
myself when I want to do one more rep in the gym, what
I
would
think I may have
Leonidas
lost
say?
you, and I hope Leonidas is hustling enough to get you other sources of revenue. Like he's getting you to do other opportunities, either online or through your socials or through your Patreon or something like that, to keep this going.
Oh
Because
yeah,
I
and you
would
know
worry.
what?
I would worry for you if you're only like one thing is these five people, because that's not sustainable, and I'm sure that's hard some months more so than others. But that's what I want Leonidas to do.
But here's the thing though.
You need to be telling you.
As we can see the big picture, we can always see the big picture.
Yeah.
But who's looking at the little picture? Who's maintaining? Who's watering the seeds that we're planting? And one of the seeds that I want to make sure that is planted and firmly rooted
Uh-huh.
in this new version of myself is that I always stick to my principle. I always stick to
Yeah.
my my why. Why I'm doing this is because I don't want others to feel like I feel. I don't want others to have to go through unnecessary BS, even though you paid for a trainer, even
Mhm.
though you did the diet, even though you did all these things, you were faithful, you were dedicated, you were diligent, you did these things. And people still said it was your fault why you didn't progress. No, my why is to be who I need to be because in every spiritual book, the
Mhm.
Bible talks about pressed down, shaken together, running over, a man will give into your bosom when you follow, when you submit to God, when you allow him to use you. I got a chicken hookup. Like, like
Chicken.
I
Oh,
I
we're having
say
a
all that to
serious
say
moment.
is I got what I need. You know what I mean?
You found a way to get what you needed. Yeah.
Yeah. And from a finance, yes, it might not be a surplus in finances. Trust me, I'm like right on the edge. But just being diligent to understanding that it won't be like this all the time. The most
Yeah.
important thing I can do is stay balanced. The most important thing I can do is stay efficient because bodybuilding is the best teacher. Like bodybuilding has legitimately saved my life because it reestablished discipline. It
Mhm.
reestablished that ability to focus, that like laser in. Once you get your show date, nothing matters. It's like they just NPC released it a couple weeks ago. August the 10th is the state show.
Yeah.
2020
You're already mentally there. You're prepping.
is 35 weeks in one day.
Mhm.
Like I start prep at 20. Like it's just when you can be
Yeah.
intentional about your actions. And there's a lot of people who just don't have anything to put as a goal. You gotta find yourself a goal. You gotta find something to pour that attention into and just like That's who I am now. I want to be
Mhm.
someone who you can watch how I move. You don't have to hear me, just watch me, because 80% of all communication is nonverbal.
Sure. How do you help your current lifestyle clients find their why? I would assume that's a big part of your joining the group, that when they're ready to learn and do these things, how do you help them find their why?
I have a questionnaire that I get them to fill out, which kind of just and it's so wild that I've been in the fitness industry, man,
Mhm.
almost 20 years now. So the average person falls into a certain set of category standards. I mean, once you've seen one, you've seen them all, and anybody who comes up to a personal trainer or to a lifestyle coach already has in their mind that they're willing to change. Something before that put them in that place. Something forced them into saying, okay, I need help, and then seeking it.
Okay.
They I'm not naive to say that somebody was just coming from McDonald's the other day, riding down the street going, oh, I'm gonna stop in here and just talk to this trainer and give him my money. Like, no, no one does that. So I go in with an understanding of, okay, what happened? Once I find out what happened and why it happened and why that you want to use this to correct that, me and you develop a plan to
Mhm.
facilitate that.
Okay.
That's we find that and it's the reason I said that I want to model myself as your homeboy who just so happens to be a fitness professional is because I pride myself on being a great friend.
Yeah.
I pride myself on being a great brother. I pride myself on being a great person. And a part of this is trust. Like, I'm huge on trust. If I trust you, we can roll. But the moment I stop trusting you, you can stick a fork in the hole. Just with my clients now, I develop a level of trust. And I've got my Alabama life and I got my
Mhm.
Nashville life, and they're both. I'm 38, so I
Nice.
was in Alabama until I was 18, and I've been in
Yeah.
Nashville just a little bit longer. So it's like it's crazy how those are the ones that I'm really starting my business with are people who truly have seen my body of work over this amount of time.
Right.
And so, I'm just helping them with that trust factor of saying, if this is our problem, brother, I'm not going to sister, brother, I ain't going to judge you. My true superpower is the ability to compartmentalize. That's what I'm good at. I will block out everything in the freaking world.
Mhm.
I can do that. Like, that's what I learned about Michael Jordan and Kobe. They can do those things. But I can do that also when it comes down to being real with myself. When I'm real with myself and I go, all right, Judah, this is the problem. If you truly wanted to get rid of the problem, let's address it. And so that's kind of what I do to them. And I go, let's cut the bullcrap. Because here's what the body, just take a picture with your shirt off. Like, just take a picture with your shirt off. Because
Mhm.
that's another thing that they have to do. They have to check in with me. I want pictures.
Sure.
I
Yeah.
won't. I won't. You're gonna take me to the gym with you at some point to make sure that the workout plan that I put together tailored to you. You're doing
Right.
it with the emphasis on what I want.
Mhm.
And it's a relationship. So I just get them to trust me because I want to be a coach that I wish I had. That's the reason I don't have a coach. I've tried coaches, I just don't have one because
Yeah. You've learned you want to be your own. You you would rather be the person that you wish you had 20 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah. And that comes from that's I want to be the brother that I wish I want to see. I want to be the friend that I want to see. Like I just want to be that person. So whether it's a business or not for me,
Yeah.
you know, I'm not trying to be your next Shark Tank, big. I don't want to be Shanti. I don't want to be. I just want to be somebody that you hear. Hey, this dude right here, he helped me. He can help you. That's
Sure. A lot of that industry starts from word of mouth. So through experiences and personal reviews to friends and family. Yeah. That makes sense.
keep it simple.
Okay. All right. So, what would you say has been your best business advice you've ever received?
The one thing that I heard, like just going through, was
Mhm.
always something centered around quality over quantity. You hear that so much. Quality over quantity, quality over quantity, quality over quantity, quality over quantity. Like in the business world, you hear that so much, but it's said a lot because you need to hear it a lot because it
Mhm.
is true.
Okay.
Things that we think are cliche are really true. So, quality over quantity from a business approach is you're paying for my perspective. What is the quality of my perspective? Is my perspective tested? Is it proven? Have I how many years have I been in it? Do I show signs? Do I speak as though I understand my own advice? Do
Mhm.
you think I take my own advice? Before you start a business, because in order to have a business, you have to have a product. Well, in this particular business, I am my product.
Right.
I'm selling myself. And the same thing that you see with me is what you're going to get with you. It's only because my quality outweighs the average person going through the quick way of trying to get it. Like, that's the reason I smoke. I don't grill. I
Mhm.
smoke it. You know why? Because the smoke over time makes it better. That's why I used to enjoy bourbon until I became a bodybuilder and I had to let that go.
Okay.
Bourbon is distilled over time.
Yeah.
The longer the bourbon, the more quality, right?
Mm.
A lot of people haven't done enough. Well, the average trainer, the average coach hasn't done enough quality time in their field. I just want to take this time right now
Mhm.
to truly maximize this downtime, this time where everybody's still figuring it out. Like this is a whole new lifestyle for you. This podcasting. Like this is a
Yeah.
new world. Like people still think, Amanda, podcasting, come on.
No, I know.
But
And I had
but me
people
and
in my
you
family
know
say that.
that
Yeah. I
we
had plenty
watch
of people say that.
podcasts where people are making some serious cash sitting at their house.
Or in their professional studios now. Yeah. Yeah. This is just my house. My Ole Miss paraphernalia
That
room.
is your professional studio.
It is
You pay
now.
for it.
That is true. I do pay rent to this to this space. Yeah, no, I did. I had someone close to me in my life say that the industry's saturated. Are you sure you really want to do that? Like, how are you going to stick out? Or these age groups that you're targeting, they don't listen to podcasts anymore. Like, it may not work or whichever. And I understood that that may be that in particular person's perspective, but that wasn't what I was trying to get out of podcasting. Like, I had watched all the other people that are famous, right? Or the episodes that I do or the shows that I do like. that are successful, and they have found a way to do that. And one of the reasons that they're able to do that is they already had a large following online. And so when they started out, they could transfer their audience over, or they built their audience because they started 5 or 6 years ago compared to me. Like, I am starting late in the game, but I don't really care about that in particular. I mean, I'm enjoying the creative freedom. I didn't have a lot of that in my past life, and it's been fun failing, kind of like what you said, the failing hard. I've been getting frustrated with myself while I'm trying to learn these things, but it hasn't deterred me from still trying, still wanting to try, still trying to see this through, see if I can turn it into anything. If it does, great. And if not, then I learned a lot. My original goal was just to at least do this for a year. Start, just get the first episode out there. Each episode will get easier and easier as you go on, but do it for a year and then see how you feel. If you don't like it after a year, then like you tried it, right? Like, there's plenty of podcast shows that are very famous that only did one season or whatever, but typically those are like true crime novels, and like people listen to that because they're already interested in dead things and murder. And I'm not talking about murder, I'm talking about epic failure and how do you get out of it. But I don't know. I just thought that there would be, let me backtrack a little bit. The way that you said that you have decided to become the person that you wish you had 20 years ago, there is no podcast that I'm currently listening to that speaks the way that I'm speaking. There's no podcast that I'm currently listening to with a host that is trying to connect with me in the way that I want to connect with other people. There are, don't get me wrong, the self-help particular genre, personal blog genres inside of the podcasting platforms are highly saturated. There are lots of professional therapists out there. There are a lot of life coaches like Jay Shetty and Lewis Howes and Case Kenny, mindfulness coaches that are out there that are doing these shows, and they have been for a very long time, and they have massive followings. But there's nobody out there that I'm aware of, at least at this point, that is openly talking about how they personally lost themselves in whatever path it was, and they need to figure out how to grow again or how to get back to who they are and recreating their identity and like finding their purpose and struggling through those processes. Nobody says that. Like, they already, a lot of it, in my perspective, is people that are already on the other side and they're telling you how to get there. There's not anybody actively in the process, in the trenches, that I can listen to. So that's why I wanted to do it. Like, yes, my family member told me it's saturated. Yes, you're way behind the times. They're not going to be popular in the next couple of years. People aren't going to listen to them, etc. Okay, fine. Then it's going to be my personal blog. Then it's going to be my journey. And the coolest part about this, despite messing up sometimes and not getting the audio right or not being able to record when I want to or get the guest on that I wanted to get on, when I play back the episodes and listen to myself, those are the moments where I'm like, yes, she said that out loud finally. Or, oh my God, I needed to hear that today. Even though I recorded it weeks ago, I go back and I listen to each episode. One, to boost my ratings, to help myself. So selfishly that, but two, to go back and hear, I am so proud of her for saying those things. Like, she's really doing it. She's really getting vulnerable. And that's the most important thing, especially in social media right now. I may never be famous, and that's fine. I don't know if I necessarily want to be famous, rich and famous, but authentic. Like, I want to be authentic and genuine to where I'm at. And I feel like that's the only way I can get where I need to go, is if I'm being real with myself. And that's kind of why I wanted to do the show. And that's why I wanted to start the What Now, a podcast for the lost and found, because I know that there's got to be way more people in my age range, or have been at some point in their lives, lost, and they found a way to get back to who they are. And that's what I want to do.
What if you were put here to find that one person that you needed to help. What if this
Maybe.
podcast is for one person? And you don't know when they're going to tune in. You don't know if you don't know if they have the platform yet. They might be getting a new job and they haven't gotten the internet yet. Nobody's put them on
Sure.
podcast yet.
Sure.
But that's your one person. And that's how I go into my motivation. I
Yeah.
could be put here for one person to see the light. Everybody's not going to agree with me. Everybody is not going to even like the way that I speak. A lot of people
Right.
don't like me because of me. I'm from the South, trust me. Like,
Yeah.
what if it's that one person that just needs to hear the way that I chose to deliver the message? You know? And
Yeah.
so that keeps me so motivated because there's a lot of darkness out there. There's a lot of fakes out there. Man, a
Yeah.
fake trainer is just as common as a fake Louis bag. Okay?
Uh, okay.
Like, like they everywhere. They're like fake Jordans. I mean, everybody's a trainer. When I put that time frame, by the time I'm 40, which is in 2025, figure it out. Figure out how bodybuilding works and how to peak yourself. Because once you figure it out, you got it. You can tweak it. I'm like a producer. You know what I'm saying? You can't program something and never have to go back and reset it.
Or
Like in
updated or
bodybuilding,
whatever.
my
Yeah.
diet, I can eat the same thing over and over again, but I need to adjust the ratios to
Yeah.
manipulate. If I want to gain weight, I need to be in a surplus. If I need to cut weight, I need to be in a deficit.
Yeah.
And I only take my deficit in 500 calorie intervals at a time. So, you know what I mean? Like I gotta tweak this one, adjust that one. In bodybuilding season, I got to make sure I put a little bit more emphasis on family because I don't want to go to isolation because bodybuilding is rolling. So I need to do a little couple things with my family, but I also need to do something with the business because
You got to
everything
balance.
is
You got
it's
to
a
balance.
balance.
Yeah.
It's a balance. And so like right now I'm just building up my resilience and my stamina and
Yeah.
when it comes to these areas that I care about because
Mhm.
that's what it all boils down to. What's important to me? And right now, watching my growth is the best show. And I love
Oh.
watching me and I love watching other people grow. So that's why I'm so locked in on you because not only are you nice to look at, but
God.
you embody what growth is. You're someone who you're not talking about doing it, you're doing it. And those are the people I have the utmost respect for. And
Yeah.
if you talk about it all the time, uh, let me just put it to you like this. When I was 16, my dad passed away.
Yeah.
He gave me one piece of advice, kept me balanced along this journey. He said, never listen to what people tell you. Watch their actions. It'll
Mhm.
tell everything that you want to know.
Yeah.
And that's just how I've been able to operate because I don't listen to people. I watch their actions. And now I'm slowly, as I mature more, I'm becoming a person where I'm just action based. Yeah, sure. You're going to talk to me about, you want to do a show? All right, well, I'll talk to you on stage. There's nothing else to talk about.
Mhm.
That's how I understand who's in this and who's not. Because if you're not doing what I'm doing or more, you ain't doing it.
Right.
Like that's how it is. So my dad gave me that advice: never listen to what people say, watch what they do. And then once again, we talk about this thing we call balance.
Mhm.
Here's the feminine perspective, and here's the what my mom gave me. I
Okay.
can show you better than I can tell you. That's my balance. Those are the two pieces of advice that I just
Mhm.
continuously run in my brain. My mom tells me, I show you better than I can tell you.
Yeah.
And my dad is like, don't listen to what they're saying. Just watch what they do. It's offense and defense in my playbook right there. And so I attack the gym that way. I want to develop the mental fortitude to attack my business like that, and the humility to just attack, just being a more vulnerable, open, well-rounded man. So
Yeah.
that's Judah in a nutshell right now, and it's a journey, but I'm taking the time now to truly enjoy the aspects of development.
It is. All right. So final question. What advice would you give Judah 20 years ago? Like, obviously, you spent the last 20 years becoming the person you wish you had. What's the advice you would have given yourself back then, now that you've had the chance to learn it all?
Fight back.
Okay.
Because there was a lot of situations where I doubted myself. I doubted who I was as an individual, whether it be professional or even from a personal standpoint. And I didn't stand up for myself. I didn't have the lionitis. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't fight back. I let situations just engulf me. And when they engulfed me, it was almost they suppressed everything that was just the essence of who Judah is. And if I'd have just fought back just a little bit, I would have kept myself out of those places. But now with Lion, I know that Lionitis is here. I'll never have to worry about being in a fight that I can't win.
Okay.
So just I would just tell my earlier self, man, fight back and keep fighting back. Like that's true kings, man. We die on our swords. Like King Leonidas only took 300 in the battle against 100. I'd rather die with quality than live with quantity.
All right. You heard it here first. You heard it here first, y'all. Die with quality, not quantity. Yo, Judah, thank you so much for coming on my show. It means so much to me to get to spend time with. So to wrap everything up, if there's any listeners that want to find you or they're interested in the projects you have going on or they want to join your wellness teams, how do they find you? Or what's the easiest way to connect with you and your particular businesses or products?
Shoot me a DM on my social media, Judah_Lionitis on Instagram, Judah Lionitis on Facebook. Or we can just even I ain't gonna give out my email address because that's my main source of communication. I'm back to emails. I'm gonna have a pager after a while.
Oh Lord. Okay. All right. Well,
But yeah, like
yeah.
just reach out to me. I put it to you like this.
Okay.
What I've come to find out once I took this approach with no phone, that the things and the people that need to find me will find me, and like if you're not on social media, I mean, you'll find me. And at some point, you'll be able to see me. So maybe it's not our time to even meet yet. But
Judah. Okay.
but knowing that there is somebody out here like me
Yeah. Right.
should give you motivation to say that whatever is going on in your life, that you have an ability to find your Lionitis too. And
Mm-hmm.
so keep fighting. Don't be afraid to fight. And yeah,
Yeah.
reach out if you can find me, reach out. And if not, just keep listening to this over and over again and getting Amanda's ratings up. All right.
Right. Keep coming back. Like, subscribe, leave me a review, share the episode with your friends. You can always reach out to the show at askwhatnowpodcast@gmail.com. The show's Instagram is also going to be in the description box, where we're Podcast for the Lost on Instagram. And leave us some comments, any reviews, any questions you may have. Reach out at askwhatnowpodcast@gmail.com. And that's it. Thank you so much, Judah, for being here. I love you very much, and I appreciate you and all the insights you gave us. This is an excellent opener to a mini series of A and J on the pod. So I appreciate you very much.
I love it. I love everything that you're doing. Congratulations and thank you.